Minister of Energy, Mines and Petroleum Resources.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, and I rise to speak in favour of Bill 20, the Medicare Protection Amendment Act that's been put forward by the Minister of Health. And I'm absolutely thrilled to be speaking in favour of this bill. I think this is a very historic day for British Columbians. In fact, Honourable Speaker, what this bill does is it provides British Columbians with the biggest tax cut they've seen in a generation. We're saving BC families as much as $1,800 per year, individuals $900 a year, by eliminating the medical services premium. And Honourable Speaker, if nothing else happens for me today, I have to say that being able to speak to this bill makes today a wonderful day, because, Honourable Speaker, I know how much this is going to benefit the people I represent, how it's going to benefit all of British Columbia, and I know that we are making a better British Columbia by instituting this type of legislation and offering people what I said earlier, which is the biggest tax cut they've seen in a generation. Honourable Speaker, for 16 years, what we saw under the previous government was actually a doubling of the MSP premium. And what's critical in that is not only were the previous government costing British Columbians more out of their own pockets for basic healthcare services, but the type of taxation that the MSP premiums would be called a regressive tax rather than a progressive tax. So I'm going to talk about that just really quickly, because I know there's people at home wondering as they're flipping through the channels and they've stopped on the BC Legislature channel and they've heard regressive versus progressive tax, and now they're really keen to watch and understand the difference between these two types of taxes. And so a flat tax or a regressive tax, whether you're earning $30,000 a year or $300,000 a year, you're paying the exact same amount. And that's what the medical services premium was, Honourable Speaker. Families, no matter what kind of income, or what income, unless they were the lowest income earners, were paying the exact same amount. And that's unfair, Honourable Speaker, and economists and experts all over the world have identified regressive or flat taxation as a problem, because what it means is that people who are earning more are not paying according to their ability to pay, and neither are people who are earning less. Rather, everybody's paying the same, but not everybody can afford to do so, Honourable Speaker. And so rather, over time, society has identified a progressive taxation system as more equitable and more fair to all citizens, so that those who are at the top end of income earners are paying more to their ability. And so we've moved away from this regressive taxation system for MSP, Honourable Speaker, and we're moving towards a more progressive system, and one that's going to benefit British Columbians so much more, not only through the savings that I've already mentioned, Honourable Speaker, but every time we put extra dollars into people's pockets, that has positive impacts in our local economy. And, Honourable Speaker, for the small communities that I represent, what you'll see every year over the holiday season are strong messages for buying local. Shop local. Do your Christmas shopping in your local community, because that supports local jobs, that supports local businesses, and that supports a thriving local economy. So when we as a government identify ways that we can put money back into the pockets of my constituents so that they can spend it locally, I know that that's going to have a positive impact for the communities that I represent, Honourable Speaker. Now, one of the things that I also want to mention in reference to this is that we've already actually cut premiums in half, and we've already done that in the 20 months that we've been in government, Honourable Speaker. And so now we are going to fully eliminate MSP premiums with this bill, and we'll be doing it January 1st, 2020. So within less than a year, we'll be able to make sure that every British Columbian has that tax cut back in their pockets, Honourable Speaker. And what does that mean? Well, that means $2.7 billion are going back into British Columbians' pockets. I already talked about how that's going to benefit the local businesses in my communities, Honourable Speaker, but think about that. It's not just for Nelson and Creston and Caslow and Salmo or Balfour, Honourable Speaker, or Weimar, Honourable Speaker, but that's the story right across this province. And so when somebody in Vancouver decides to go to Caslow Jazz Fest, Honourable Speaker, and they want to do a little bit of shopping in Caslow, they're going to have extra dollars in their pocket to do that, Honourable Speaker. When somebody hears about Art Walk in Nelson and they're coming from Kelowna, Honourable Speaker, they're going to have more money in their pocket to spend, not just in Kelowna, but also as tourists in their own backyards, in their own provinces, in their own province, Honourable Speaker. And so this is, to me, very important in terms of how we can also support local businesses throughout the province. Now, one of the things that we've done, I said that we're replacing this regressive tax with a progressive tax, and that's the payroll tax. But, now a lot of people get upset about this on the other side, but what they fail to mention is that this is the lowest payroll tax anywhere in Canada, and that 85% of businesses are entirely exempt from paying this payroll tax, Honourable Speaker. So for small businesses in my community who are already receiving a tax cut from this government, they're seeing people who are able to shop in their stores more, have more money in their pockets to do so. Most of the businesses in my communities that I represent, Honourable Speaker, will not be paying the payroll tax. They will be exempt, and that's true all across the province. Honourable Speaker, one of the things that the other side has brought up, and some people in my community as well have asked me, is that if we move from the MSP premiums that every individual paid, $1,800 a year for a family, $900 a year for an individual, and we move to a payroll tax, well, municipalities will be paying that. And of course, will they just turn around and increase property taxes? Well, we have to keep in mind that municipalities have a variety of methods to balance their budgets. Property taxes are not the only source of revenue that they have. I was a city councillor, Honourable Speaker, and we received grants in lieu from a variety of sources. We received gas tax grants as well. There's a variety of ways in which municipalities pay for the services. But say they did turn around and decide to increase property taxes. Let's compare what that would cost the average household. The average household would see their property increase, their property tax increase by a few dollars, maybe $20, maybe maybe $30, Honourable Speaker. Now compare that to the $1,800 a year that they're going to be saving, Honourable Speaker. No matter how you shake out that concern that the opposition had brought up numerous times, and in a way that I wouldn't say is entirely accurate, Honourable Speaker, no matter how you shake it out, at the end of the day, British Columbians are walking away from the end of MSP premiums better off, Honourable Speaker, considerably so. And so this to me is a great thing that we're doing for British Columbians. Often we, I remember during the election, and we made this promise, and of course the mantra coming from the BC Liberal candidates at the time was that we are the party, the NDP is just the party of tax and spend, Honourable Speaker, but here we are, the party delivering the largest tax cut in British Columbia in a generation, Honourable Speaker. And so I think that goes to show that this party, as a government, always puts people first, and that's fundamentally what we're about, Honourable Speaker. And fundamentally what we're doing here is putting more money back into the pockets of British Columbians to help them make life more affordable in this province, Honourable Speaker. And that's going to be benefiting a total of 900,000 Oh, sorry, pardon me, Honorable Speaker. I was reading the wrong number. 920,000 people are on premium assistance right now. So that's the remaining number of British Columbians. So about 3 million people are benefiting from this right now, Honorable Speaker. I'm very proud of the work that the Minister of Health has done and the Minister of Finance has done on this item. Very proud of the work that our government has done. And I know the benefits are going to be seen every single day on the streets of Nelson, on the streets of Creston, on the streets of Caslow, Salmo, and the other 25 unincorporated communities that I represent, Honorable Speaker. This is a very good thing for people in the Kootenays, and I thank the ministers responsible for their hard work on this, and I'm very, very proud to stand up and not only speak to this bill, but to support it, Honorable Speaker. And with that, I understand that there will be no other speakers, and therefore I move adjournment of the debate, Honorable Speaker. Nope, sorry, I don't do that. I will sit down and let other speakers then take their place.